Patrick Kane, who's known this family for a very long time. Obviously, this is a parent's worst nightmare to get to.
Imagine that. I cannot imagine the agony they're going through right now. Cannot imagine it.
You and also another one of the friends of the family here, because you guys want to help. You guys want to get involved.
We're just here to help. We'll do whatever we need to do to help.
I know I saw one of the officers come over and talk to you. Right now, they're not accepting volunteers?
That's correct. They just want us to, stand down and wait for further instructions. So we're just here. We'll be here all day if we have to be.
I wanted to share some phone calls from local residents that I got with regards to this Moreau Lake State Park, which was a very informative conversation. We also went over the maps of the area and the campsite, and with regards to Charlotte Sena, a 9-year-old girl that went missing. Now, I'll briefly talk about, if you haven't heard of this story, she went with her family and friends Friday, September 29, 2023, to this camping place. They got there around nighttime. Saturday, 9/30, 2023, around 6:15 p.m., she goes for a bike ride with her very close friends, so close that she considers them cousins, when she decided that she wanted to be big girl and she wanted to do one more loop around the campsite, which you'll see on the map. We talk about these maps. And so when she goes for this one more loop by herself, she disappears. After about 15 minutes, when they noticed that she didn't return, her family went searching for her. Even people at the campsite, they started searching as well. It was like a chaotic scene as described by the governor. Around 6:45 p.m., that's when her bike was discovered along the path where she was riding. Now, there was rumors, somebody that called in told me that supposedly it was a little bit more off into the grass. There was another rumor that one of her Crocs were found as well. I haven't confirmed that. And so at 6:47 p.m., 911 was called. And I think state police got there around 7 p.m. That night, a missing person alert was issued. The next morning on Sunday, October 1st, around 9:35 a.m., about 16 hours later, is when an Amber Alert was issued. Now, with this Amber Alert, I believe it said something like the child was taken under circumstances that lead police to believe that they are in imminent danger of serious harm and or death. And police have said that it's possible that she was taken. Really, if a local wants to call in, just give some of their thoughts. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for calling. So you're close to the area.
The stuff there, basically they haven't really put out, Governor Hochul hasn't put out, but a lot of the talk in the city and the canvassings is that their main concern is near Loop A between Site 1 and 12. It's feet away from the main road there, with the loop to where her bike was found. Mm-hmm. So I think they're looking at it as an abduction right now, and from Old Saratoga Road. Like if you look on I think that what you had it up there a little bit.
I have it up right now.
Going through like the site. Yeah, going through the sites there that they're thinking that's like what their main concern is right now is an abduction from Old Saratoga Road right there between sites 1 and 12. The family was staying at site 18, but when she went back around for her last lap there, that's what they're possibly looking at.
Have they said like exactly where her bike was found or not really? I know it's in this loop.
They said it was rumored that it was out near Old Saratoga Road, but someone else confirmed on New York State's, I think it was on their Twitter, that it was actually found between Site 1 and 12 on in the grassy tree area there. But I can't confirm exactly, but that's what's being said that's where it was found.
Wow.
It's also been rumored that one of her Crocs was found there too, but there's no evidence of that either. Just
one of her what?
Rumor amongst the community. One of her Crocs, her black Crocs.
Oh, okay. Wow. A rumor. Okay, gotcha. It's interesting.
Yeah. I can't confirm that's what, but I do know that the bike was found in that area.
Wow.
But there's been helicopters out all day. They've been canvassing. They've been going to gas stations, people's houses, anything with Ring cameras, because they didn't confirm that there's no cameras there in the state park itself. But other than that, they don't really have too many leads, at least that they're putting out. But the area and community within Saratoga is kind of really stressed out and worried about what's going on.
Yeah, I bet.
There is, I think I did read, and someone brought up that there's about 28 registered sex offenders in that specific area.
Wow. Have you ever been to this park?
I have been, just for a walk. I've walked our dog there a couple times, but I've never actually camped there or stayed. It's pretty big.
I'm on the chat's asking, do you know if it's like a very open wooded area, like not dense, or is it dense type of?
Near Old Saratoga Road there, and where Loop A is in itself, is not very dense. Like, you can literally see from the road. Like, if you were to stand on that road right there, you could see those girls riding their bikes. The trees aren't, they're very wide apart from each other. It's very visible. Throughout the rest of the area, are some parts that are dense, but other parts aren't. It's not like very wooded where you wouldn't be able to see, 10 in front of you. You can see.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It is kind of like you could easily see through.
Yeah, you can look on Google Maps. You can see, like, it's very visible. The road from that Loop A, between sites 1 and 12 facing the road, like, it's very visible there.
Wow. Okay. And have you ever, so you've only been there a few times. I guess, I don't know, it'd be anecdotal to even say, have you ever felt unsafe there? But
no, never felt unsafe there.
And,
no, there's never been really anything to this major event in this area either.
Okay.
Of like this, to this extent. I mean, I know that there's a lot of sex trafficking that goes on in New York State itself, mainly the city.
Right.
But,
and as far as wildlife, because some people were asking, do you know anything about like what might be out there?
There's bears. There's moose come down from the Adirondacks. This is more east of the Adirondacks.
Okay.
But there's bears. There's bobcats, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that insight.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Yeah. I hope more comes out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
I appreciate the call. Okay. Let me take this out. This is local. This might be brand deal there. Okay. 518. How you doing?
Hey, April, how you doing, man?
Good. Thanks
Brandon.
for calling. Brandon, hey.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't know if you recall. I don't know if you covered this other case that happened recently this last year. I tried to mention it in the chat too, but Sam Humphrey went missing locally in Schenectady, New York, over toward, I think it was like the Scotia Bridge or whatever it was. And they ended up finding her cell phone and whatever else it was. But I think it took like a month or two to even find her because of a deep freeze. I don't know if you had actually covered this case as well, but typically there's nothing as far as people missing in this vicinity. And then even when we've had Amber Alerts, they're found rather quickly. I mean, I think the only other time was like a child abduction where it was a father that was disgruntled and they found him right in Clifton Park or so. But the area is very nice. There's next to no homeless encampments or anything else. Believe it. People's worries about that, but Old Saratoga actually has a lot of traffic too, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to even ride her bike right out up directly onto there. And if you're familiar with the campgrounds, it's usually packed out up until about the 5 to 6 o'clock time frame. I mean, some people do still cook out and stuff there a little bit later, but this time of the year, it's been a lot darker toward 6:30. That's typical. So I know some people in the chat were saying 7 o'clock, but it actually gets pretty dark here right around 6 o'clock.
So by that time, I think they said it was 6:15, 6:45 around there. I guess it would have been kind of getting dark already, or dark. Huh?
Yeah. And I mean, there's still lights and stuff around the park that they have to an extent, and obviously with other people having campgrounds. But from where she went missing, based on like the spectrum of the area, probably not the best lighted area where she was, where the bike and everything was found. And if there was a missing croc or a croc that was in the general vicinity, that just makes you think that maybe potentially she was trying to run from someone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just odd circumstances, because stuff does not happen like this in our area.
Yeah, and I just like it is sounding pretty bad. I just with that area. I mean, if she really just wandered off on her own and got lost, like I don't know that it would have taken this long to find her. Like how far she could have really gotten. But she ended up in the water.
Oh yeah, well, especially with surveillance and stuff around there. There's actually a lot of cameras in that vicinity, along with just police in general. If you're not familiar with like Saratoga, a huge amount of state troopers and local police, and I mean the area in general is one of the safest that you can be in. To my concerns, I was at the park the last year with my family for a cookout with my kids, and we had a family reunion with my wife's side, and it's a beautiful area. It's you don't have transients or anything else to worry about, so I mean it's very, very, very odd.
Another question, the water, just kind of curious, like the visibility. I don't know, is it kind of dark? Is it clear? Can you see? Is it deep? I wonder how deep that.
It's not the clearest too, especially, I mean, really depending on where you're talking about as far as the water, but the main area of where people tend to go in the water is toward those pavilions. I don't have the screen pulled up right now if you have a diagram, but there's a pavilion area, and that's where everyone kind of pulls in and they park, especially people that are just coming for the day. The other sites and stuff are tending to be for people that usually come in like for the week and or out of towners that can get like sites and stuff toward that effect. But the water in the general area is pretty still. There's not a lot of current. I mean, it's a little murky because it gets kicked up from everyone being in the water when it gets busy, but not, you get a lot of sandy bottom. So a lot of stuff will get kicked up in the water, but it's by no means anything like she didn't get swept away by the water. I know, the last lady that you had on here was mentioning bears. There's next to no bears in our area. There are some bears. I've seen one bear in my entire life in upstate New York, and that was at my camp right up in Lake George this past year, a little baby one. So, I mean, wildlife, you don't have anything to worry about in our area.
Okay. Did you freak out? Just curious when you saw the little baby bear. Like, do they say like you need to stay away and stuff like that? Because
so I actually, my family members told me about it. I'm like, no, there's no way you saw a bear. We ran down the road to Stewart's, and then we came back, and we're pulling up the dirt road onto our camp, and we seen this little bear, and I knew it wasn't big enough, but I got out of the car like an idiot with my brother-in-law, and we wanted to take a picture.
Oh, man.
We didn't approach it or anything because they're not supposed to get that close, but it's amazing to see them because you don't ever see them in our area.
Wow. All right, man. Well, yeah, thank you so much for that insight. I appreciate it because I have no idea about this area. I think a lot of us don't either. There's some people in the chat that do, but I appreciate you kind of filling in some of the
Look
gaps.
Up Saratoga race course and just the general vicinity. I mean, it's not rural or anything either to any extent. I mean, there's a lot of farmland to an extent here and there toward other parts of upstate, but around that general vicinity, it's actually quite busy outside of that general camping area. Hopefully it comes to a good result, and you always do some great coverage and stuff.
Thanks,
so
man.
It's cool to be on one of your tabs.
Quick question too: the Sam Humphrey missing thing. I was just kind of looking at the 14-year-old that went missing. So what ended up happening to her? They pulled her from a river.
Yep.
It says.
So from what I remember, and it was very odd because we were actually at my uncle's house on the riverfront, and we heard about the girl that was missing, and they had airboats out on like the frozen part of the river trying to search for her, but they had found, I think it was a jacket or her phone or something. They thought it was involved with a boyfriend, like some younger boyfriend that she had. But I believe I don't know if it was like a week or two after the fact, but they ended up finding her in the river.
Wow.
From what I understand.
That's great. Yeah, that's what I see. They found her in a river.
And I mean, stuff like that doesn't happen often around here. So the fact that it was within a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no one really got the full gist of that whole circumstance. I don't know if that's really been covered
weird.
Much more.
Yeah,
so.
that's weird. The only thing I saw, like it said that the autopsy results were like inconclusive. I don't know. And like you said, she was found in a river.
It was very odd because it was in our news for, I want to say at least a week it had to have been, but it was just like that stuff does not happen around here. So, I mean, even to be that close to like 2 cases where this has happened within a year of each other, pretty much. It's pretty wild.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem,
All right,
man.
take care,
You have a
man.
great night, and thanks again.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.